Introduce Tom Pronounced and Mark Billinghurst from Christchurch, and Tom would like to give you a little introduction. And if you would like to stand a little bit closer to the microphone, they'll get a better.
Good morning.
Good morning, Prime Minister. Welcome to the HIT Lab. We're happy that you could come visit us, even though Mark and I are back at your home. And it's very early here.
It's 5 in the morning.
It is indeed. But we're really happy that you could come visit us, and we're looking forward to, for my colleagues and myself, spending some time with you. Mark has a few things he'd like to say as well. And good morning, my boss, Mark Emmert. Glad that you could come along as well.
And Mark, I love the purple shirt.
Well, thank you.
That's right.
That's
right. That's right. As you know, Mark is a graduate of the University of Washington. He earned his PhD in electrical engineering and was one of my students and a graduate of the HIT Lab as well. So now he's carrying on the tradition, sort of the birthing of this baby here in New Zealand. But Prime Minister, we want to thank you that we're able to make this connection via the Karen network, because we're actually using the bandwidth provided by the, for your benefit, Karen stands for the Kiwi Advanced Research and Education Network. And we're tied into that network, and indeed with some support from a company called LifeSize that's providing this really clear image that you see. In terms of the HIT Lab US, I started the HIT Lab US in 1989 as a part of the Washington Technology Center. You've had the chance to meet Lee Cheatham, and this is a way that we wanted to build a bridge between the university and industry. And indeed, one of the things we have done, in addition to having many students, about 80 graduates that come from the HIT Lab, we also have a consortium of businesses, about 48 companies that you can see on the board behind you on your left. And indeed, we're doing the same thing with the HIT Lab here. And there are a number, 28 companies here as well. And when the companies in New Zealand join the consortium here, they're automatically members of the consortium in the U.S. And vice versa. The companies in the U.S. consortium are members here. So this way we get a lot of linkage, not only between the students and the research we're doing, but also with the companies as well. What we want to try to do today is give you a little bit of a smattering of the research that we're doing, bits and pieces that I think where you can see some of the potential linkages to New Zealand. There are about 5 different demos that, again, are across a broad spectrum. We'll start with one that has to do with the scanning fiber endoscope, and Dr. Eric Seibel will be presenting that to you. It's quite a remarkable technology that builds upon our photon manipulation work that we've been doing for a number of years. Then you're going to get a chance to see our so-called just-in-time command post. It actually is a project funded by the Department of Homeland Security for first responders to natural disaster or with man-made disaster. And indeed, we are using as part of that demonstration some technology from here, from the HIT Lab New Zealand, the Magic Book technology. We will then, you'll get a chance to visit with Dr. Hunter Hoffman, and he will be telling you about the work we're doing with virtual reality as associated with pain and phobias. We thought that being in politics you would appreciate that we can actually give you some treatment actually that help you deal with those challenges in your life. Then you'll see. And then we want to show you a new kind of way of interacting in virtual reality, the so-called virtue sphere. And this gives sort of a rat cage a whole new meaning, as you'll see in a few minutes. And if we have time, we want to show you some of the haptics work, or the force feedback. So with that, let me turn the time over for a minute to Mark, and you can say what you want to say to your boss.
Sure. Well, I just want to welcome you vicariously, I guess, to the HIT Lab New Zealand. Unfortunately, I can't be there today, but I understand you've had a very successful tour so far of the US, and I guess the HIT Lab New Zealand really does have its birthplace where you're standing, and we're really grateful for Tom Finesse and the efforts that he's made to make the Hit Lab possible, and of course also the efforts of the New Zealand Government through the funding that you provided us, and particularly the funding for the Karen Network that makes this possible. In fact, we just found out last week we received another small grant to look at how we can develop new software to run over the Karen Network that will make remote collaboration like this much more possible. And hopefully that one day you'll actually be able to come down and visit us here in Christchurch as well, so you can see what it's like in the other end, which will be really great. I guess that's about all I had to add. I hope you have an enjoyable stay at the University of Washington, and we'll say goodbye on your way out. And I guess it's very nostalgic for me to have you walking through the building where I spent about 8 years of my life struggling in my PhD. So, is there anything else you want to say, Tom?
I don't believe so. Just have a good time with my colleagues and students. These guys are wonderful on both sides of the Pacific, and that's what it's all about, is having an opportunity to help these young folks be all they can be. So we'll just stand by here until you're on your way out and say goodbye.
I really appreciate you getting up so early. We'll be down to see you, Mark. Down to see the Kiwi. Thank you.
Great.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Mark.
Bye-bye.
No, it's been fascinating to see the visualization techniques and the applications with, you can see the military applications, by the way, but addressing the health applications and recovery applications.
Indeed.
I guess the thing from our perspective, from a New Zealand perspective anyway, is that by having the partnership back into Seattle, it means that we can leverage off a lot of technology that they've got there as well. And also the two labs are very complementary. So for example, here in New Zealand we have the currently New Zealand's only 3-screen stereo immersive visualization centre. So we can use some of the HitLab US technologies and bring them back to New Zealand. And it's great from our point of view because with that relatively little amount of investment from this end, we can take advantage of a lot of the technology being developed in the US. So it's a good example of a multinational partnership, I guess.
In addition, because of the success of the Hit Lab in New Zealand, the Australians now want to do it. So we're in the process of starting a Hit Lab in Australia to start in Tasmania. And of course, one of the things that we want to do between New Zealand and the U.S. is help the Australians now get going. And there again will be further student exchanges, and we want to really make this an international network of research. So before you go,
It also strikes me, Tom, that you've managed to find a way to stay in perfect weather all the time.
Well, you noticed that.
No.
Well, I'm just waiting for it to clear up in Seattle, so I can.
I know.
But,
a week or two.
But before you leave, Prime Minister, Suzanne, do you have? Is Suzanne there? Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
No,
okay.
on camera
Oh,
here.
we have to give. Okay. A photo opportunity here. Okay. And so we have. Yeah.
The mic.
A mug. Yes, the mug. The famous mug. Okay. Here we go. Excellent.
Nothing minds.
Yeah.
Great.
No expenses spared.
Yeah, no expenses are spared. But of course, we could increase our budget a little bit, and then we could get bigger mugs and things like that. Yeah.
But we look forward to coming and seeing the Christchurch end.
All right, we'll look forward to having you down here.
Well,
Great to see you.
also,
Diane would like to say something.
Okay.
well, also, it'll be difficult, but I think we can do a group shot if we have the Prime Minister and President Emmer turn their backs a little slightly to you, and we'll do
Okay.
a group shot.
That'd be great.
Is there?
Or just arrange to say like it.
Yeah.
Yes, we have to. So you have to place us. Where would you like us?
Just a little bit towards that.
Okay.
Together.
Okay. Oh, I see.
Okay.
They're trying to get. Okay. Good.
Hi.
Do we need to zoom the camera from our end? Or?
Yeah.
Right here. It wasn't more, that was
Done
on.
working?
Yeah, that's working. Okay, thank you.
Good.
Great.
Great.
Thanks.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay.
A virtual photo.
Enjoy the
Take care.
rest today.
Bye.
Okay.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
guys. Thank you.
See you later.
Thanks, that will be.